Lots of people talk about, I need to start a business. I want to start a business. I want my own business. But guess what? A lot of people want their own business, but they ain't taking care of the very first business they got, which is home, right? They want to start a multi-million-dollar business and help the world, but they're not helping themselves. They're not good with their own personal finances. And guess what? Whether you like it or you don't like it, you're already in business. So guys, here's the deal. Fix this camera real quick. All right, there we go. So guys, if you want to be rich, look, you don't have to start a business and you don't have to do a side hustle necessarily. Everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, a business owner. Everybody's not cut out, frankly, to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. And that's understandable, right? And if you're not, hear me out on this, all right? If you want to be rich, you don't have to start a side hustle. You don't even necessarily have to be an entrepreneur and start your own business. You don't have to do that. Your four walls, your personal finance at home, you can handle that like a business. Now, the reason I'm doing this video is because I got a comment recently on one of my videos. I had a person that wrote and said, give me a different way to look at my personal finances. They said, I listen to all the gurus and all the people talking heads on YouTube, and I want sort of a different way to look at my personal finance. So I said, okay, cool, let's make a video about it. So on this video, I want to give you sort of a different way to look at your personal finances. It's not starting a business. It's not becoming an entrepreneur and having employees and having a payroll. None of that, right? The first thing you can do is to look at your four walls like a business. You are a business, right? You're in, whether you want to believe it or you don't want to believe it, as a human being on this planet, you make money, you are a business. And you should look at your personal finances like a business. So let me explain this whole thing of looking at your own personal finances as a business. Or in other words, looking at your personal finances as your first and most important business, instead of looking to start a business or looking to have a bunch of side hustles. Become your own side hustle, right? If you just sit and look at your personal finance. And I'm going to explain how that's really a great way to understand how to look at your finances and see whether or not you're in good financial health or not. So here's how these concepts sort of align with each other. And if you understand what I'm saying, guys, drop me a comment below and say, okay, I get it. I like the way you're doing this. Okay, so how to look at your personal finances, your household finances like a business, right? When you strip everything away from a business, you strip a business down to its bare basic bones, the foundation of a business. Every business has basically three things to help that business figure out if it's a healthy business, if it's a growing business, if it's doing well or doing bad, right? Three basic things, tools that every business uses: an income statement, a balance sheet, and profits. Okay? I want you to try to use these same three basic tools for your own personal finance. So in your own personal life, I want you to look at your own personal income statement, your own balance sheet, and your own profits. Now, let me explain how to do that. The first tool, number one, is this. Every business uses this tool as a measuring stick. It's called an income statement. Now, an income statement for a business is also called a profit loss statement. But an income statement is basically taking all of the things, all the money you have coming into the business, and then also looking at all the money you send out of the business. So the income that comes in the business and the expenses that go out of a business. Every business needs to be evaluating an income statement or having a profit or loss statement so they can evaluate that money coming in and that money going out, right? An income statement. An income statement is basically a business's budget, and every business tracks this over a specific period of time. It could be quarterly, it could be monthly, right? The income statement shows whether or not the company is operating at a profit or they're operating at a loss, right? So what I want you to do with your own personal finances is do a budget, so you can begin to gauge and track what's coming in, your income coming in, right? You got your regular job, you got a couple little side things you do this, you do that, right? You can measure all the income coming into your household every single month. If it's 2 or 3 of y'all that's putting towards it, then you measure the income from everybody. Put it on a piece of paper as income, right? We're forming a budget here. So you put that income on the budget. Also on the budget, you have expenses, what you send out, what you pay, right? All of your bills and things that you send out. So now, on a personal level, you have really an income statement if you have a budget. right? A written budget every single month, written down, paper, notebook. It could be spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet, Excel, whatever you use, right? I don't care if you use an app, right? But you track your expenses. So now you track your income, you track your expenses, you have a personal income statement for your household, for your four walls, right? And if you analyze that on a regular monthly basis, it's going to pretty much help you ensure that you're staying within your means. You're not spending above your means, right? It's just a way of tracking what you got coming in and tracking what you're sending out. Discipline, monitoring, making sure you staying within the guardrails of what you have and not overspending, right? You're spending below your means being your income or what's coming in. You can monitor that just like a business has an income statement or a profit loss statement. You can manage your income and outgo on a budget, right? So your budget, your personal written budget every single month is an analytical tool that will help you make good decisions about spending money. Just like a business has to make good decisions about spending money. Both of those things, the whole aim of an income statement or a budget, same thing, the whole aim is to track what's coming in and what's going out. That's the kicker, right? That's really the very first step of making sure that your personal financial life is together. It's by making sure that you have your spending under control and you know what you got, taking an inventory every single month of what you got coming in. Right, that's huge. If you can do that, you're well on your way to bettering your financial life. Guys, if you're getting any value at all out of this quick video, do me a favor, smash that like button below and share this video with somebody who you know who you think could use it. And drop me a comment below. Look, have you ever looked at your personal finances like it was a business? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, let's talk about the second thing that every single business has. It has to have a balance sheet. Now, what is a balance sheet for a business? The balance sheet for a business is simply knowing what you have in terms of assets and what you have in terms of liability. That's what a balance sheet does for a business. What do we own and what do we owe? Now, guess what? In your own personal four walls, your own personal finances, you can have a balance sheet. We call it a personal net worth statement, right? Because in a personal net worth statement, you put all your assets on one side of the paper and you put all your liabilities over on the other side of the paper and you do the math and you figure out what is your net worth, right? So again, a business has their balance sheet, their assets on one side. A personal net worth statement has assets on one side. A business has all of its liabilities that it owes as a business on the other side of the paper. And in a personal net worth statement, you've got all your liabilities. Now, when you add all that up, a business would call the excess on the asset side equity, right? But we call the excess, hopefully on the asset side, net worth. It's really a quick snapshot of the health of your overall financial picture. That's really what it is. And in my opinion, you ought to be doing a net worth statement at least 2, 3, or 4 times a year to monitor and check where you at. Right? So you should always know about what your net worth is, right? Just as a business would always want to know at any given time, what is the equity in the business? Because that's going to help them make decisions down the road. Same for you. You want your assets to outweigh your liabilities. You want to have some personal equity in terms of your own personal finances. Now, the third thing I mentioned was profit. Every business wants profit. What is profit? Profit is back on that income statement where we talked about income and expenses. Every business, every for-profit business, they exist to have profit, right? Profit is that extra money left over after you've paid all your expenses. Now you got a little extra money left over that you can do things with. That's profit, right? And what profit does for a business is it really indicates, okay, how efficient is the business? How sustainable is the business? Can the business last a while if it has to? Now, in our own personal finances, what a business calls profit, I would call discretionary income. Every time, after every single month, you pay all your bills, all your expenses, and then you look at your income, how much do you have left after you've paid all of your expenses? That's your discretionary income. That's the same thing that a business has, and a business calls it profit. So what is your profit? Every single month, after you've paid all your expenses, you look at your income, what's left over? Look at that as profit, right? Your personal discretionary income. that's left over after all expenses are paid. You only will get that. You only will understand what that number is by doing a budget, doing an income statement first. So profit for a business and your profit or discretionary income left over every single month are both things that can be used to reinvest, right? So your profit left over, your discretionary income can be used every single month to reinvest in you as a business. In other words, it could pay down debt. It could add to your savings. It could add to your investments, the money that you have invested in the stock market or real estate, right? Or it could improve a piece of real estate that you have. So the reason you want to have some profit is so you can use that money to build your business, to build your four walls, to build your own personal finances. Just like a business uses its profit to improve the business, buy better equipment, right? Buy new land, lease new buildings, whatever that business is trying to do, it's going to use that profit to help it do it. Same thing with you. Wherever you're at in your personal financial life, use that profit every single month to get better, to reinvest, right? So think about it. Lots of people talk about, I need to start a business. I want to start a business. I want my own business. But guess what? A lot of people want their own business, but they ain't taking care of the very first business they got, which is home, right? They want to start a multi-million-dollar business and help the world, but they're not helping themselves. They're not good with their own personal finances. And guess what? If you can build a business, you ought to be able to build your own personal finances, right? Whether you like it or you don't like it. You're already in business. You have a business. It's called your personal finances. It's called your own personal budget, your own net worth statement, your own discretionary income every single month. You got a business. Stop saying you don't want a business. But look, if you want to be rich, you ain't got to run out and start a business. You ain't got to be an entrepreneur and hire people. Start with your own personal finances. Look, you wouldn't believe how many people have a business and they're trying to grow their business, trying to grow a side hustle, but their personal finances is in shambles. Their personal finances back at home is like crazy, right? Out of sorts, out of whack, don't have enough this, barely doing it. Listen, I know you heard the stories about how people didn't have no money and they slept on their couch or they slept at the studio or whatever to build the business, right? But listen, most of us ain't building a $20 million, $30 million, $500 billion company, right? Most of us have these side hustles. But look, you can't be disorganized at home and be organized in business. Now you can, but guess what? If you do that, you got to have a business and you got to have somebody else managing the money of the business, right? You got to hire a CPA or CFO, Chief Financial Officer. You got to hire somebody that's going to help you run the organized money of the business. If you don't manage the money of the business, you ain't growing. So sometimes the people who are in shambles at home, if you don't want to have your business in shambles, you got to go out and hire somebody to help you with the administrative or with the financial side of the business, right? Because you'll mess it up. Because disorganization at home with your money can translate easily over to disorganization with your side business in terms of money, right? It's a reason why a lot of businesses don't grow and a lot of businesses fail because they just don't handle the money right. Well, look back and see how you're handling your money at home. So, hey, this is a different way to look at how to manage your personal finances. Looking at your personal finances like a business. Income statement, and the income statement being your budget, balance sheet, and the balance sheet being your net worth statement at least 3 or 4 times a year. And then the third thing was profit. Over the years, you want to have more and more discretionary income. And that means every time you make more money, you can't spend more money. Just because your salary goes up doesn't mean your expenses got to go up, right? Think about that in terms of a budget, right? Just because the income side goes up, which it will go up for most of us over the years, right? It'll go up. It don't mean your expenses got to go up. The best thing you can do for yourself is increase your income and keep your expenses about the same and increase your profits every single month or your discretionary income, because that discretionary income is what you're going to use to build wealth, to invest, to make that money go make more money. After you pay all the bills, have some money left over that you could employ and make go out there and work for you so you can make your money make more money. Look, this is going to help you on your way to financial freedom. It's going to help you get rich. if you really focus on your finances like a business. I mean, think about it like this. When you have a business and it's going well and everything's working well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be able to step away from that business and let that business run itself. You want your personal finances to be the same way. Step away, boom, everything's in place. That's growing, the money is growing. That's how you want to be in your own personal finances. So look, these dogs over here, 3 or 4 yards down, they going crazy. I'm not going to keep the video rolling. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off at that. Listen, if you got value from this video, let me know in the comments section and just say, hey, I got value. And share this video with somebody else. Maybe somebody else needs help understanding, okay, what's a better, more efficient, cooler way that I could look at my personal finances to get better at my personal finances and maybe reach financial freedom sooner. And don't forget to smash that like button for me below. As I always say, guys, the best person who's going to take care of that old you is the young you, the you today. Guys, take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.